Welcome to Legend Story. I'm your name, and in this special, we're exploring the profound, often misunderstood journey of a man who chose fidelity beyond death. In March 2009, the world lost a radiant light. Natasha Richardson, the Tony Award-winning actress, beloved daughter of the Redgrave dynasty, and devoted wife of Liam Neeson. What followed was not just a personal tragedy, but a 16-year testament to love, loyalty, and the quiet endurance of grief. While Hollywood often moves on quickly, new relationships, new headlines, new distractions, Liam Neeson did something rare. He stepped back. He raised his sons. He honored his wife's memory. And for over a decade and a half, he kept every romantic relationship at arm's length. Not out of bitterness, not out of fear, but out of devotion. Not through grand gestures, but through daily acts of remembrance, fatherhood, and emotional honesty. This isn't a story of loneliness. It's a story of love that outlived loss. To understand Neeson's 16 years of solitude, we must first understand the love that defined him. Liam Neeson and Natasha Richardson met in 1990 during a Broadway revival of Eugene O'Neill's Anna Christie. He was a rising Irish actor with Shakespearean training. She was Hollywood royalty, graceful, witty, and fiercely intelligent. Their chemistry was instant, but it was their shared values that cemented their bond. A deep respect for craft, a commitment to family, and a belief in privacy in an age of exposure. They married in 1994 at her family's estate in upstate New York. A simple ceremony, no press, just loved ones. Over the next 15 years, they built a life filled with art, laughter, and two sons, Michial and Daniel. In interviews, Neeson never boasted about his marriage, but his eyes always softened when he spoke of her. "She wasn't just my wife," he once said. "She was my best friend, my compass." Natasha grounded him. She challenged him. She gave him a home, not just a house, but a sanctuary. And when she died suddenly in 2009 after a skiing accident, that sanctuary collapsed. On March 16, 2009, Natasha fell while skiing in Quebec. It seemed minor. She declined medical help. But within hours, she developed a traumatic brain bleed, an epidural hematoma. Liam rushed to her side. Their sons were brought in. And on March 18th, at age 45, Natasha died. In a rare 2011 interview with Anderson Cooper, Neeson described the moment he knew she wouldn't survive. "I kissed her. I told her, 'You're not coming back from this.' And she just held my hand and let go." He later said, "That moment, my life split in two. There's before her and after." The grief was shattering, but he had two teenage boys, 13 and 12, who had just lost their mother, and he knew he had to be their anchor. So he made a silent vow, not spoken publicly but lived daily. "I will not replace her. I will honor her, and I will raise our sons in the light of her love." In the years that followed, rumors swirled. Was Liam dating? Was he seeing someone? Tabloids speculated endlessly. But the truth was consistent. He remained single, not because he was closed off. In fact, friends describe him as warm, social, and deeply engaged with his sons' lives. He attended parent-teacher conferences, coached soccer, made dinner. He even turned down roles that would take him away from home for too long. But romantically, he kept his distance. In a 2016 interview with The Telegraph, he confirmed it plainly. "I'm not dating. I'm not looking. Natasha was the love of my life. There's no replacing that." He wasn't bitter. He wasn't broken. He was choosing fidelity, not out of obligation, but out of love. And this wasn't performative. It was private. He never made public declarations. He simply lived it. Even when friends gently suggested he move on, he'd say, "I'm not alone. I have my boys, and I have her memory." For Neeson, grief wasn't something to get over. It was something to carry with dignity. Neeson's loyalty wasn't passive, it was active. He kept Natasha's memory alive in tangible ways. He still visits her favorite spots in New York's West Village and County Wicklow, Ireland. He speaks to her every day, literally. In a 2022 interview, he said, "I talk to her. I tell her about the boys. I ask her what she'd do. It's how I stay connected." He also ensured his sons knew her, not just as a photo on the wall, but as a living presence in their values, humor, and kindness. Both sons have spoken of their mother with reverence. Michael, now an actor, said, "Mum's strength is in Dad's eyes every time he looks at us." Neeson also honored her through action. He became an advocate for traumatic brain injury awareness, not for fame, but to prevent other families from suffering as they did. He declined a knighthood in 2020, not out of pride, but because Natasha's family, the Redgraves, are lifelong Republicans. He respected her beliefs, even in death. 16 years. That's longer than many marriages last. In that time, his sons grew from boys into men, both now actors in their own right. He starred in over 30 films, often choosing roles about loss, protection, and redemption. He continued his work with UNICEF, visiting refugee camps and HIV clinics, carrying Natasha's compassion forward. And through it all, no new partner, no public romance, no tabloid flings. In a culture that equates moving on with healing, Neeson chose a different path: integration. He didn't erase Natasha. He wove her into the fabric of his life. As grief expert David Kessler says, "Grief doesn't end. It changes shape. And for some, love becomes the shape it takes." For Neeson, love didn't die with Natasha. It evolved into fatherhood, into service, into silent remembrance. As of 2025, Liam Neeson remains single. At 73, he's spoken more openly about aging, legacy, and peace. In a recent interview, he said, "I've made my peace with life. I don't need more. I have my boys. I have my work. I have her. There's no bitterness, no regret, just acceptance." And perhaps that's the most radical thing of all. In a world obsessed with new beginnings, Neeson showed that some loves are meant to last a lifetime, even beyond it. He didn't need another relationship to be whole. He was whole because of the one he had. Liam Neeson's 16 years of solitude aren't a story of loss. They're a story of love that refused to be buried. In choosing to keep every woman at arm's length, he wasn't rejecting connection. He was protecting a sacred bond, one that shaped his sons, his work, and his soul. In an age of fleeting attachments, his quiet fidelity is a quiet rebellion. And perhaps the greatest tribute he could give Natasha wasn't a statue or a speech, but a life lived in her spirit. If this story moved you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes love doesn't end with death. This is Legend Story, where the deepest legends aren't written in headlines, but in the quiet courage to love, even when it hurts. Thank you for watching.